The NBA draft happened this past week, and we all forgot about it because of the LaMelo Ball trade. I want to go back, revisit some of the NBA draft highlights, give my awards, and let's start off first by talking about who had the best outfits and maybe not the worst, or maybe the worst outfit of the draft. So for the best outfit, I'm gonna do a tie here. I'm gonna do Dalen Swain. He had a really nice maroon colored suit, and then I'm a fan of the all white suit by Cameron Boozer with the brown shoes. So shout out to them. Most swag, I'm gonna give it to LeBaron Philon. He had sneakers on. He had a nice uh, big chain on. So I never seen sneakers. I never seen a player wear sneakers in a draft. Maybe if someone else does, then let me know about it because I got to give that one the most swag. And the one that I'm not really sure about, like, was kind of maybe it looks cool to this generation, but for me, it looked a little strange, I guess. Nate Ament, he had kind of this baggy suit, coat looking thing. Not for me, a little too loose. I like the more European style, slim fitted type of suit. Now, onto some basketball. So, as far as the biggest reach, I'm going to give that one to Toronto for Allen Graves. I had him a little bit lower than that. I felt like he should have gone in the mid 20s just because defensively he's a little slow. Now, he's a good team defender, but I don't trust that he's going to be able to guard very well, and I think he's going to be hunted a little bit in the pick and roll at the next level. But he does have good pick and pop ability. He did show that he was a good shooter, and so I don't hate the pick, but I'm going to say biggest reach. And if that's the biggest reach in this draft, then that just shows you that a lot of these teams drafted very well because they did. Now, biggest steal, I'm going to give this one, I'm going to give some honorable mentions here. I'm going to give Malik Thomas to Cleveland, them getting him at the 34th pick. I had a first round grade on him, and he's a really good shooter, and he showed that he could do more with the ball when Acuff was out. Cameron Carr going all the way to the Lakers. The Lakers moved up one pick because New York decided to sell their pick to them to move down a spot. Okay. But Cameron Carr, now apparently he quit on his team, not this past year, but previously. I forgot at what level, but that maybe that was one of the reasons why he fell, or maybe he didn't do so well in the interviews. There were definitely some concerns. I could tell you that on tape, he was a lottery talent. And if the Lakers can figure that portion out, then he's going to help them on the court because you surround Luka with shooting and good things happen. We've seen that time and time again. So, biggest steal runner up, I would give to Cleveland, Lakers, and also shout out to Minnesota because I think Isaiah Evans in the second round, I want to say pick 33 or so, also really good because that dude plays with so much confidence. We've seen it time and time again with Duke. He just plays with a chip on his shoulder, and when the team was going down, or he would find a way to bring him up. So I would really want him on my team. So I think Minnesota got a good one in Isaiah Evans. Now, let's see. Biggest steal overall would be San Antonio Spurs because they got Jayden Quaidens, and that dude is going to be special defensively. If there was one person who could potentially guard Wemby in this draft, it was Jayden Quaidens. And so I'm not sure why he fell past OKC. Well, I know why. We'll get into that. But I don't think he should have. And so if you're San Antonio and you get the guy that could potentially guard your best player and you have him on your team, watch out for San Antonio's defense. I'm telling you, they're going to be, if Jaden Quaintance is healthy, they're going to have an all-time defense next year. Dylan Harper, Stephon Castle, Wemby, throw whoever you want at the three, and have Jaden Quaintance there. You can't. You're not going to be able to score on that team. You're just not going to be able to. So they're the winners of the draft. They also got the biggest steal. Now, biggest regret. I put OKC here, even though I really like Ade Mara and I really like Bennett Sturts. So this is maybe not a real fair one. It's just because I'm so high on Jaden Quaintance that I felt like they needed to pick him. Now, if they felt like the medicals were a red flag and that's the reason why they didn't pick Jaden, I understand. Then this you know biggest regret award should be thrown away. But if Jaden turns out to be all defensive caliber type of player, which I think he will be, then I think OKC's highly going to regret making not picking him with either of their picks. Now, the best fit. I'm going to go with Golden State Warriors picking Yaxel Lendenberg. It just made a lot of sense. He's the oldest rookie who could come in and play 30 minutes a game. He's going to help them right away. They needed size. They looked so much better with Steph, Pods, and size around them. I think this pick made the most sense. It made a lot of sense. A lot of the picks made sense in the first round, but this one had the best fit. So best fit award is going to Yaxel and the Warriors. Now, most confusing pick. New York Knicks. What are you doing? You trade down for cash. You made probably $100 million or something in winning the championship. Do you really need some more money? And I understand like the books are really tight right now. I understand that. They probably want to re-sign Mitchell Robinson and Landry Shamet. I get that. But this is your opportunity. Was a relatively deep draft class. There were still prospects here that I really liked, including Cameron Carr, who the Lakers picked at 24, which you had. You're telling me that you don't think Cameron Carr could have helped you guys? I think that's a mistake. And there were other guys like I mentioned before, Malik Thomas, Isaiah Evans, and heck, even Alex Caravan could have helped you guys. So they ended up trading Dallas, and they traded out of the first round. Now, I will say giving the best team draft is very close. So I'm going to give it a tie between Atlanta and the Kings. And it's crazy to say the Kings. It's baffling to me because this is a team that particularly hasn't drafted very well, but Scott Perry and his team look like they're turning things around because I liked their two picks last year in Maxime Reynaud and Nick Clifford. And this year, I liked all three of their picks, even though I would have drafted Malik Thomas over Alex Caravan. And I probably would have drafted Isaiah Evans over him too. But I understand the pick because Alex Caravan is a great culture guy. He's going to help instill a willingness to fight for the ball, fight on every possession. He's going to bring in winning mentality, and I think that's really good for the Kings. So I'm not hating on the pick. I would have done something different, but I totally see it. I liked all three of their picks. Of course, you have Darius Acuff going 7, who were a little bit lucky to have him fall there, but also someone good was going to fall to them at 7. And Emmanuel Sharp, potential 3-and-D player, also brings defensive tenacity to the floor. And so they got shooting, they got defense, they got culture, and they got star potential in Darius Acuff. That's a winning formula for the Sacramento Kings. So I have to give a shout out to them on this draft. My dog wanted to come in, so there she is. But I was going to say the other team that had a really good team draft that I would say that tied with the Kings would be the Atlanta Hawks. And they drafted Zuby Ejiofor, Kingston Flemings, and Henry Visar. All three were first round talents. Henry went to the second round, almost went undrafted, but um, good lob threat, really good shooter. Is a solid five, rotations five. So I think he's going to be good. Zuby, I didn't really love this pick because I thought there were better options. I understand it. I really like Zuby. I thought he probably should have got a little lower than this, but I did understand it to some extent because the dude plays tough. If he could turn around the shooting, great pick. Absolutely great pick. And Kingston Flemings, he's going to be a great culture setter. And I really like him. I would have probably gone with Braden Burries there, but I also understand picking Kingston over him because he's also one of those guys who's going to be a culture setter. And I had them in the same tier. I just had Braided had some more upside in my opinion. So those were my awards. I appreciate you guys watching, and I'll talk to you guys next time. Peace.